by either you or Mr. Skopek that the administration was in the process of vetting market-based initiatives. With whom is that vetting taking place?
Well, I just want to say that I've worked very closely with the Market Advisory Committee. They were chosen by Secretary Adams. And I just want to say that there was not a single meeting of the Market Advisory Committee, that there weren't multiple Air Resources Board staff members present. We constantly consulted with the Air Resources Board. And the idea was to just get together this group of experts that have actually implemented these kinds of programs and looked at them from all angles. They came from academia, they came from the private sector, they came from government, both national and international. And we brought them together, and their sole purpose was to come up with design recommendations that would go to the Air Resources Board as they consider whether or not market mechanisms make sense as part of the whole package needed to get to 1990 levels.
Besides that committee and Air Resources Board, is the administration consulting with anybody else regarding market-based initiatives to combat global warming?
By consulting, I guess, no, we're not consulting.
Conferring with, seeking the input of.
I think that we are relying entirely on the experts on the Market Advisory Committee. That's who I am aware of.
And by the way, you were asked to be here by whom in the administration?
By the Secretary of Cal EPA, Linda Adams.
Madam Chair, I know I've taken a lot of time, and I will pause it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cure. Let me say that we know, I think, that there are a number of very important questions that cannot be answered by the people who are here today. Let me just repeat, we may have to try to get their testimony by other means. I'm very disappointed that Ms. Kennedy and Mr. Dunmoyer chose or were told not to join us today. Also, frankly, that the Republican members of the committee have chosen not to come. I want to make clear this was a publicly noticed and announced meeting of the Natural Resources Committee. I was told by Ms. Fuller that she was going to be here and that she was being briefed by someone before coming. Unfortunately, she is not here, but we have certainly done the very best we could to make sure that we had all the voices at the table. Mr. Huffman, followed by Ms. Evans and Mr. Westman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My first question has to do with Dr. Sawyer's testimony that in 18 months he never once met with the governor. I'm particularly troubled by that because Section 39511 of the Health and Safety Code, which is part of this legal framework in which we're operating on climate change and other environmental policy, states that the chair of the board shall serve as the principal advisor to the governor and shall assist the governor in establishing major policy and program matters on environmental protection. So I guess I would open this question up to any of the witnesses. Is it possible for the chair to discharge this statutory obligation without ever meeting with the governor?
I think Dr. Sawyer, and going back in just a moment, included that in his testimony because he considered it a serious gap. I would say that the statutes creating the Air Resources Board predated Cal EPA, and so since the existence of Cal EPA, the cabinet position has moved to the Secretary for Environmental Protection. So it is her job to communicate to the governor what the needs are of her boards, departments, and offices. And in my testimony, I shared the view that she hasn't done that as effectively as she could. She should certainly take Dr. Sawyer along with her more often and press for conversations about variable issues.
Dr. Sawyer, did you have anything to add to that?
We were talking about the governor not meeting with you for the last 18 months.
Dr. Sawyer, my question has to do with the legal requirement under Section 39511 that you serve as the governor's principal advisor on environmental protection, and whether you feel that your inability to have a meeting with the governor impeded your ability to discharge that duty.
Well, I feel guilty. I feel guilty for not being aware of that part of the law. It was certainly not brought to my attention that that was a role which I was supposed to be playing, or I would have pressed more aggressively. I just thought it was curious.
Let me turn the question prospectively and ask of the administration. We're attempting to look forward and not just focus on recriminations of the past. We have a new chair of the Air Resources Board, which hopefully will be confirmed. Going forward, will anything change in terms of the face time the chair of the Air Board gets with the governor?
Well, in all honesty, I'm not entirely clear of the reasons why there weren't more meetings, but as Catherine indicated, the Secretary has regular meetings with the governor and on all environmental issues, but most particularly climate change. I do think that the new chairwoman I think that we should take this under advisement. Like I said, we're just seeing that allegation the first time today, and I don't know why. I don't know whose calendar, what the situation was. But I would say that already Ms. Nichols has met, I know, at least twice with the governor. So perhaps, there will be a difference from going forward.